We've been talking about a Winter Olympics. If they gave out gold medals to lawyers, our guest here would be wearing, you look like Mark Spitz. You'd have gold medals all over you. Talking about Larry Kelly from Luxembourg, Garbutt, Kelly, and George. How you doing, Larry?
You're too kind, Scott. You're too kind.
As long as it doesn't fall off.
Yeah. But I'll say this much, Noah. It is awful foggy out there, so be careful if you're driving. Let me tell you something.
I was going to ask you about that. Your personal injury, you've seen it all. Any cases where fog and someone not driving properly
it's called assured clear distance. You have to be able to bring your vehicle to a stop within a distance you can clearly see ahead of you. And so, therefore, on a normal day, you might be able to see ahead of you 500 yards. Today, it's closer to maybe 100 feet. Mm-hmm. So you have to adjust your speed accordingly, and you got to be able to stop within that distance that you could clearly see. So if you're driving out there, adjust accordingly your speed. Right, absolutely. That's what we do at LGKG. Automobile accidents, unfortunately, this time of year, road conditions, atmospheric conditions make a big difference on how you should be handling your automobile.
We see that with the piles of snow in parking lots in public places. There's a visibility issue. The snow may be melted off your driveway, but there's a big mound you have to kind of edge out into the road to see. And that's got to be you got to
be careful in the people that plod that snow that high right at the edge of the enter and exit of a parking lot. They may have some responsibility here too. I mean, use common sense, because you're right, Scott. I mean, there have been a couple times, I'm pulling out of a parking lot and there's a mound of snow to my left and my right that's 12 feet high. Yeah. I get it. I mean, you have to put the snow somewhere. Just don't put it right at the end of the parking lot so people pulling out can't see. Yeah, those people may have some responsibility too in situations like that.
I think so too. We're talking to Larry Kelly from LGKG with offices in Beaver Falls, Newcastle. We might got to get them all one of these. Butler, Cranberry.
Yeah. We have a satellite office in Pittsburgh. So yeah, we try to make it convenient for our clients. Mm-hmm. The main office is in Newcastle, and it has been. Wow, for more than 50 years. And so, but if you're a Beaver Falls person, we'll see you at 1126 6th Avenue. If you're a Cranberry person, we have offices in the office building on Mackenzie Way right next to Dick. So we make it easy for you.
Busy time of year for you guys. People are getting out and about more, and with that comes more chance for injury.
It is. A lot of automobile accidents, unfortunately, because, again, road conditions, atmospheric conditions make it a little more difficult to drive your car safely. And then a lot of fall downs. You got to be careful.
Black ice?
Black ice will let the business owner off the hook. It's the other day, maybe it's 2-3 weeks ago, we had a foot of snow. And in Pennsylvania, it's not your obligation to go out there and shovel snow while it's still coming down. However, after the snow has been down a reasonable amount of time and people start tracking through it, now you have a duty and an obligation in PA to go clean it up, especially if you're a business owner. And, it's called hills and ridges. Once people start walking through it and there's footprints and tracks and hills, now you have an obligation to go out there and clean it up. And if you don't, you could be responsible. And people, unfortunately, when they hit the deck, especially older people, they break hips, they break arms. They're pretty serious injuries. And at LGKG, we see that a lot and evaluate. I can't tell you how many times I've tried one of those cases. So, yeah, we just resolved one the other day. There was a hole in the sidewalk that unfortunately our client had stepped into, and the property owner said, "Well, geez, how were we supposed to know that hole was there?" I said, "Well, man, I got a picture of it that shows not only was there a hole there, but there was like a weed growing out of it." So that hole had been there quite a long time. You know what I mean? There's a weed growing out of the hole. This hole just didn't happen yesterday. So if you are in those situations, you got to get to us quickly so that we can go out there and preserve evidence. Without that picture, that would have been a much difficult case to be successful for our client. At LGKG, we want to get out there early, often preserve evidence as best we can, and use it later to try to prove our case.
Now, does that tie into potholes? We're coming up on pothole season, and obviously PennDOT can't have every single pothole fixed immediately, but some are in dangerous areas.
There's special rules, though, Scotty, that deal with potholes. And in Pennsylvania, PennDOT is only responsible for a pothole if they have written notice. Written notice, a letter sitting in their file, somebody complaining of a gigantic pothole in a roadway that could cause a dangerous condition. And you're looking at a law firm. I've sued PennDOT more times than I can count for hazardous road conditions, improper signage at an intersection, berms that don't meet standard regulations of PennDOT, runoff water that's freezing on the road. At LGKG, we've had all of those cases. But a pothole, you need to have written notification to them. And it may be out there. Good luck in finding it.
Now, can it be from
good
just
luck.
a citizen, or can it be like a
Anybody.
borough or municipality?
It can be from anybody.
Interesting,
right.
interesting.
Anybody. And a lot of times, it's the borough manager who is complaining. Why? Because, you're driving down the road, you hit one of those potholes, it totally ruins the wheel on your car, and it's about $500 to replace it.
Right.
So you go complain to the mayor or the borough manager who says, that's not our road, that's a PennDOT road. But because you're complaining to them, they may then send off a letter to PennDOT. So you may not find that letter at PennDOT. Trust me, they lose everything. But if you go to the borough manager or the mayor or the supervisor and say, hey, listen, have you ever made a complaint? They may have that letter, which could give rise to liability on behalf of PennDOT. Again, Scott, I've been doing this for 42 years. I've seen the movie before. I've seen every scenario that there is to see. I tell my clients, Larry Kelly doesn't like having gray hair. I don't, but I've earned it. That scenario you just described, we've seen at LGKG numerous times. So if there's a letter out there, we know how to find it, and it's probably not going to be from PennDOT. Because if you sent the letter, somebody looked at it, probably threw it away. So if you ask about it, they're going to say, we don't have any letter. Yeah, well, you don't, because you probably threw it away somewhere along the way.
So when someone in PennDOT looks down at their caller ID, Larry Kelly's calling again.
They know who I am. They do. And they're good lawyers there. And they do a good job. But the fact of the matter is, the facts are the facts, as I like to say. And PennDOT has some rules and regulations, and I keep their rules and regulations notebook right on my desk. So, the definition of negligence is not acting reasonably. If you violate one of your own rules, I'm not so sure that's reasonable to do that. So, again, at LGKG, we've seen these cases. We've seen the movie before. We kind of know how to end, Scotty. I don't like having gray hair, bro, but I've earned it.
Well, I know one of the things you're proudest of when someone calls your offices, they're not going to a call center in Dubuque, Iowa or something.
I say this all the time. I do. You have an option. If you're involved in an automobile accident or a work injury, you have an option. You can call one of those big box firms, the ones that handle 1,000 cases and have nationwide offices. You can call them, and you're probably going to talk to somebody who's not a lawyer. Or you can call LGKG. Scotty, we don't take every case. We handpick our clients. We're not handling 1,000 cases, and that way we can give your case the attention it deserves. So the option is shop at a big box firm, Walmart, or shop at a specialty shop. At LGKG, we like to think of ourselves as the latter.
Now, how does the process go? Do you decide which ones you're taking via the phone call, or do you set up a face-to-face meeting?
Always have a meeting with the client. Always have a meeting. In an automobile accident case, what ends up happening, you will call, and our receptionist will take some intake information, and then we will schedule an appointment with you, and you will talk to a lawyer. You're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to Joe George. Combined, we probably have, I'd say, 70 years of experience, and there's no substitute for that. There just isn't. That's the way we handle it. Again, I'm not so sure at the big box firms, that's what they do. It's different. It's the difference between shopping at Walmart and shopping at a specialty store.
Where
That's
you know the name
what
of the
What do you
owner?
want?
Yeah.
The price is the same. The difference is when you're going to buy whatever you're buying, Walmart might have a cheaper price.
Yeah.
But in the lawyer business, you know, our fee's a third of what we recover. And if we don't, no recovery, no fee. And pretty much all lawyers charge the same. Now, there are some out there that charge less, but kind of like Walmart, you get what you pay for, Scott.
I want experience representing me. I want someone who's seen it all, done it all, been there, done that. And,
No
something you got.
substitute for that. And at LGKG, we've been around a long time. The firm's been around 90 years. 90 years. So, you know, if you'll see us walking down the street, you know, if we don't do right by you, we're going to see you in the coffee shop or in the grocery store. And you're going to say, oh, my man, Larry, what's going on with my case? You know, you don't have to guess who your lawyer is or what they look like or what they sound like or what they can do for you. Again, at LGKG, we live in this community. We like to believe we know how to win in Western PA because, hey, I mean, I grew up in Newcastle, Lawrence County. I've lived in Beaver County for over 30 years. I get it. I know what makes Beaver County people tick. I know. I know. There's a certain insight. We're a little different down here, Scott, in case you haven't figured it out yet. You understand?
I see it every day, yeah.
Beaver Falls, New Brighton, Rochester, Aliquippa, Chippewa. We're a little different. We're a little different. And
Authenticity is very important.
yeah, real. You got to be real because if you're not real, they'll sniff you out in a heartbeat.
That's a good one.
So, I mean, some people say I'm too real. My wife says sometimes you're too real, but I am who I am. Larry Kelly is who he is. At this stage of my career, I'm probably not going to change. So if you want real, call me.
We talked last week about your daughters and a law firm that they are launching. Any updates on that? You can
Yeah,
share?
the Kelly firm. You know, Lauren and Gianna worked with us, and they still do, actually. They're kind of counsel with us at LGKG, but they wanted to spread their wings a little bit. They're down in Allegheny County. They have an office, and let me think about this. You know, they're seasoned people now also. Lauren is in her 14th year of practice. Gianna is in her 7th year of practice. My daughter, Erica, who's with them, she's in her 12th year of practice. And the beauty about all three of them, they worked on the defense side for 10 years. So they kind of have a feeling of what the other side's doing, why they're doing it, the tricks of the trade. So they got like inside information that can help you, the Kelly firm, and they're all women. So
I like that. It's female run. There are probably cases where they would just have an instinct that a man might not have.
women understand women.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm still trying to understand my wife and my 4 daughters, but like women understand women. They get each other, and I think that's important. You better understand your client. You better have a feel for who they are and what's important to them, and what makes them tick, as we say. And you know that's why we meet with our clients in person. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of firms no longer. It's phone. It's Zoom meetings or team meetings, FaceTime. I want to eyeball you. Yeah. You want to eyeball me. I want to be across the table from you so you can get a feel. Who is this Larry Kelly? What's he all about? What makes him tick? And I want to get the same feel for my clients. Again, it's the difference between Walmart and a specialty store. The difference between the big box firms that advertise nationally and are on the radio constantly and LGKG. There's a difference there. What are you looking for? And the price is the same. I'd like to believe the quality is a little different.
I don't think anyone's truly comfortable doing a Zoom interview, and we've all done a million of them by now, but we were just talking about authenticity. You're not your real self on a Zoom for some reason.
You can't get a feel. You can't shake their hand.
Yeah.
There's something in a handshake, isn't there?
Yeah, and you might be wearing shorts, but you can't tell on the camera, and you're kind of not being yourself. But
can't tell.
Face to face, like you said, you get the full.
My dad taught me how to shake hands as a young man, and I think that's important. Do you have a firm handshake? You look in a guy in the eye when you're shaking his hand. Is it an authentic handshake? Are you really glad to meet them and be in their company? That's who I am. That's Larry Kelly. That's LGKG. That's who we've been for 90 years. If you like that, call us. If you don't, call somebody else. That's just the way it goes. 724-846-4400 if you want to get a hold of us.
And what's the website?
LGKG.com.
Okay, we're going to cut to a commercial. Come back with more with Larry Kelly.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series
Easing their way towards the start-finish line. The green flag is waving.
faces its second Super Speedway Challenge of the season
Sideways, the field. Everybody sprints to try to get away from them.
at Echo Park Speedway.
Freezing on the outside with the momentum. They bang doors. Kyle Busch will pull ahead. He will go back to back.
It's the Freight Racing 208.
We're talking with Art Cornell from Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum. Art, tell us about the cremation garden at Beaver Cemetery.
Our cremation garden is a very affordable burial option for families choosing cremation. Burial in our cremation garden provides a 62% savings over a traditional burial.
Why do some families choose cremains burial over options like a decorative urn in their home?
More people today are opting for something long-lasting. They want the ease and lower cost of cremation, but still want to memorialize their loved ones in a more permanent way.
And your cremation garden gives them an affordable way to do this?
Yes. In addition to a 62% savings over traditional burial, our cremation garden gives families a place to visit today and preserves their family heritage for generations. And everything your family owns at Beaver Cemetery will be protected by our Perpetual Care Fund.
Friends, you can learn more at beavercemetery.net.
Luann's Route 68 Food and Spirits and Industry is the place for wing specials on Thursdays, fish, homemade crab cakes, and crab stuffed mushrooms on Fridays, as well as karaoke night. Luann's Route 68 Food and Spirits is known for their famous steak salads and has happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Find Luann's Route 68 Food and Spirits on Facebook for daily specials and live music. Luann's Route 68 Food and Spirits and Industry is veteran-owned and looks forward to serving you today.
Moon Township Ford is celebrating the Pittsburgh International Auto Show in a big way. For a limited time, Moon Township Ford is offering Moon Ford Bonus Cash. That's $500 auto show retail trade assistance towards the purchase of an eligible vehicle. Check out Moon Township Ford's complete inventory online at moontownshipford.net. It's the perfect time to buy a Ford F-150, Ford Bronco, or Ford Bronco Sport and get $500 auto show retail trade assistance too. Stop over today and browse their new Ford models and gently used vehicles of all makes and models. Be sure to check out their complete line of inventory. February is the perfect month to buy and get $500 auto show retail trade assistance. Shop their eligible vehicles online now.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
February might be the month for love, but one thing that's hard to fall in love with around here is the weather. This is Cindy Haladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. If gray skies, mud, wind, rain, and snow sounds more like something you're trying to avoid, it might be time to have a spring fling and go somewhere or do something that you really love. Check your passport, your gas tank, and the weather forecast for your dream vacation. Then come and see me for the money. Personal, home equity, and auto loans with approved credit might have you packing by the end of this commercial. Maybe even packing the trunk of your new car. Visit friendlyfcu.org for current available loans and terms. Start your search for something you'll love this month at Friendly Federal Credit Union, making more sense for you. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Coming at you from the Friday Transportation Group studio, Scott Tady here with studio guest Larry Kelly from Luxembourg, Garbutt, Kelly & George, the law firm with offices in Beaver Falls, Butler, Cranberry, Newcastle. Did I get them all that time? Yeah. He is an expert on law. One of the things we were talking about, personal injuries and accidents, medical malpractice, I would assume, is a big part of your...
Yeah, we handle a lot of those cases. It's a real specialty. Not every lawyer handles those, but we've been doing it for, like I said, I've been doing them for 40 years. We have a very interesting case that's going to trial in Allegheny County in May, and it's a tragic case. It's a case where our client was going in there for a procedure that was relatively routine. They perforated an artery, and he bled to death right on the operating table.
Whoa.
And when we asked the physician about it, his recall, or what his testimony was, I don't recall anything about it. Well, tell us about the incision. I don't remember. Where did you do the incision? I don't recall. You know, there was a resident there. Did he help you in with the incision? I don't remember. Is that where medicine's at now? That somebody could die right in front of you while you're performing a procedure and you have no recollection of it? I mean, if that were me, I would be scarred forever. No recollection.
Is that a matter of understaffing, or are they just so bureaucratic with red tape they don't keep track of things like that?
Maybe they don't care.
Huh?
I mean, it's shocking to me that this could happen and you have no recollection. We have an expert in the case from New York, and he mentioned that this happened one time to him 20 years ago. He remembers like it was yesterday.
Wow.
And this doctor has no recollection. Don't recall. Can't remember.
Now, as a prosecuting attorney, are there like records or documents you're able to get to?
Oh, yeah, we have all of that. But he had no recollection of anything. But yet he wants to say, I did everything right. How are you going to tell the jury you did everything right when you don't recall anything you did?
Yeah.
That's a new one on me. That's a new one.
Wow.
So,
are there some common medical malpractice ones? Are there specific like procedures or operations or doctors?
We see a lot of different kind of cases. You know, we see emergency room cases. You know, we had a case recently where a young man went into the emergency room, short of breath, mid-sternal chest pain, nausea. What do you think's going on with him? You're not a doctor, but if you had a guess, what do you think's happening?
Swallowed something or ate something you should have? Or?
How about a heart attack?
Oh, that or that?
How about a heart attack? Yeah. How about a heart attack? They did an EKG and sent him back to the waiting room for an hour.
Ooh.
And before they got to him, he died of a heart attack.
Ooh.
You know, so we have those cases. It's tragic. I mean,
you hear from people.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why this is happening.
I've heard from people recently, I won't name any names, but they've gone to waiting rooms and there's been hour-plus waits. And they've had things like, you know, they're fearing they're having a stroke or something, but there's an hour wait in the emergency room.
Well, again, you know, there's a difference between going to a waiting room with stroke symptoms, right? I can't feel the left side of my face and my left arm and I'm slurring my speech, and a guy that comes in there with a cut on his hand. Mm-hmm. The cut on his hand isn't going to kill you, okay? Right. And so, unfortunately, that patient may have to wait. But the guy coming in there with stroke symptoms, especially when there's a window of about 3 hours that you can do TPA, which is a clot buster, you got to get him in immediately. Yeah. And if you don't, that's on you. I mean, that's on you. It's the state of medicine. And unfortunately, if you're asking me, it's all about money, Scott. It's all about money. You know, it's no longer about patient care like it was in the past. It's all about money.
Something that LGKG has definitely experienced in handling those kind of cases.
Way too many times, my brother. Way too many times.
Okay, we're going to go now to Noah with the news in just one moment. One commercial. Remember way back when you were young and the bus ride to and from school set the tone for what made your day special? School buses and vans have had a special place in the Fry family for 3 generations. At Fry Transportation, the student transportation industry is embraced as a tradition, privilege, and lifestyle. From the morning laughs on the way to school to the talk about the day on the way home. Memories you won't forget, just like the vintage football games aired each week on Beaver County Radio. Fry Transportation, caring for your children as they care for their own.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning. On this Thursday, February 19th of 2026, we will have a complete Beaver County Radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. During the audience participation segment of the Beaver County Commissioners' work session yesterday morning at the Beaver County Courthouse in Beaver, Beaver County Commissioner Chairman Dan Camp and Commissioner Jack Manning explained that there will be a replacement for the Beaver County Maple Syrup and Music Festival at Big Knob Grange after it was canceled this year due to leadership and structural issues.
Yeah, so we actually just got word yesterday from the members of the Grange that they were looking to host the Maple Syrup Festival this year. Jack spoke with them last night. We're going to try to set a meeting up with them and Push, because Push has all the equipment to help accommodate that.
Get everybody on the same page and make sure we're okay. They're obviously willing to do it. They're still going to need some additional resources. The Conservation District and whoever else owned a lot of that equipment, Push took ownership of it. And the Big Knob folks are saying, hey, can we get that equipment? I said, well, it's not ours to give right now. It belongs to Push. Let's get everybody on the same page and see if that will happen. Make sure we're good on the date and move forward.
Well, it is happening because according to a recent release from Big Knob Grange, they announced that they will host the Big Knob Grange Maple Syrup Festival taking place on April 18th through the 19th from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on both days. More information about this event can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. The Pennsylvania Game Commission, or PGC, is asking for the help of the public to find turkey flocks to trap for ongoing projects through an online survey that is available through March 15th, 2026. This survey can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. Trapping turkeys during the winter is part of the PGC's ongoing population monitoring, and the survey will provide information for large-scale turkey studies. 3 museums in the Pittsburgh area have been voted as the best in the United States in 3 different categories by USA Today's 10 Best list, which was released yesterday. The Children's Museum of Pittsburgh was voted as the top children's museum in the country. The Heinz History Center was voted as the best history museum in the country for the 3rd year in a row. And the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington, Pennsylvania was voted as the best small-town museum in the country by USA Today for their various attractions. Readers of USA Today cast their votes, and an expert panel nominated all of the top picks for museums in these 3 categories. Representative Aaron Bernstein will host a Firearm Owners Against Crime event from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, February 25th at the Mars Road and Gun Club in Mars. This event will provide an opportunity for local residents to hear directly from advocates of the Second Amendment and for them to discuss current and proposed firearm legislation in the state of Pennsylvania. Those that attend the event will be able to ask questions, share their concerns, and learn more about how policies in the state of Pennsylvania impact hunters, lawful gun owners, and sportsmen. And 4-time Super Bowl champion defensive back Mike Wagner, who played on the championship teams of the Steelers in the 1970s, has died at the age of 76. Steelers president Art Rooney II announced the passing of Wagner last night. Wagner played all 10 of his NFL seasons for the Steelers and played 119 games for them. He earned 2 straight Pro Bowl nods in 1975 and 1976 and was also named to the All-Pro second team in 1976.
Larry, you're a Steelers fan. What do you remember about Mike Wagner?
Man, he was a tough dude, and he was smart, very cerebral. And again,
consistent,
maybe one
too.
of his, pardon me?
Consistent.
Yeah, consistent.
Day in, day out.
One of his signature plays was in probably Super Bowl 10. They were playing the Dallas Cowboys, and early in the game, the Cowboys ran a crossing pattern that kind of fooled the Steelers, and it scored a touchdown early in the game. If you recall, the Steelers were behind in that game. Well, they tried to run the same play later in the game, and Mike Wagner, being Mike Wagner, jumped the route, intercepted the pass, and kind of turned the game around. I was a Mike Wagner fan. He was tough. He was smart. He's everything you want in a Pittsburgh Steeler, buddy.
I don't remember him taking bad penalties either.
No, he was a pro, and God rest his soul. He was a good man, and he was very successful. Had an MBA from Pitt after he completed his career with the Steelers, and was very successful in business after that also.
Awesome.
Well, you don't need me. Here's the weather.
We always need you.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Today we'll see areas of patchy fog through mid-morning. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy with a chance of rain, followed by a possible thunderstorm after midnight. We'll reach highs of 59 and drop down to a low of 46. And tomorrow we'll start the day with rain and gusty winds, but we'll gradually see the sunshine with highs of 60 and lows of 34. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Thursday, February the 19th of 2026 at 37 minutes after 9, we have got a temperature of 52 degrees. There's some fog out there currently in Beaver County. Dense fog advisory has now been lifted. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM at 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Thank you, Noah. We're joined in studio by Larry Kelly from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, the law firm. Local offices in Beaver County, Lawrence County, Butler County. And Larry, I want to talk to you about liability waivers. I read a Wire story talking about recent cases indicating that these liability waivers, especially for those in like high-risk recreational activities, they may not shield companies from lawsuits if negligence is proven. You know what I'm talking about?
In Pennsylvania, they're valid, but very highly scrutinized, okay? For example, it has to be signed by the appropriate party. You know, I can't sign a liability waiver for you, Scott. It's not valid.
I think there's something like there's those the aerial things. You can like climb trees and you can like swing on things. They have those in the North Hills, and when you do that, you sign your waiver saying you won't sue them. But if there's negligence on their part, just to use it as a random example.
Scott, they're valid. In Pennsylvania, they're valid. If a minor signs it, not valid, can't sign for anybody else. And they have to be conspicuous, normally in larger language than what else is on the paperwork that you're signing. They're valid in PA. However, if you can prove recklessness, which is a degree of fault that is one step above negligence, then they're not valid. So be careful what you sign. They're valid in PA, but you can't sign for anybody else. There's a real question as to whether or not, you can sign for a child. Certainly a child under 18, it wouldn't be valid because he's not legally able to sign a contract. They're valid, but they're scrutinized. They have to be conspicuous, and if there's something more than ordinary negligence and it broaches recklessness, then you can get around it.
Because there's fine print on the back of like the old tickets we would go to a Pirate game. You turn it over, if you get hit by a foul ball, you can't sue. But now you don't get a hard ticket anymore. A lot of it's on your phone. It's digital. Is there still fine print somewhere, or how do they cover themselves?
Yeah, there's something called assumption of the risk. You go to a baseball game and get hit with a foul ball, you probably are not surprised. You're assuming the risk of that happening. However, now that teams are putting up fencing and screens down both lines, left field and right field line, once they choose to do that, if they do that negligently, if they put the screen up and then it has a rip in it and the ball comes through the rip and it hits you, you may have a claim now. They've chosen to undertake a duty to protect you. Now they have to do that reasonably. And if they don't, and that rip's been there for 10 games, they had notice of it and did nothing about it, now they may be responsible for your injury. And they may be. I mean, the seminal case, I think, was a hockey case where somebody's sitting behind the goal, puck hits a young child and kills him.
Young girl, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I can't remember how that turned out, but my recollection is no liability because you're assuming the risk of injury. But, now there's netting behind the goals, and there's netting along the foul lines in a baseball game. If that's the case, you should bring the liability waiver to the lawyer. Let us look at it. Let's see who signed it. Let's see who, where it's located on the waiver form. Is it conspicuous? Those kind of things. Yeah, when they ask me to sign it, I just draw a line through it.
Oh, okay.
And somebody says, if somebody's going to say later, well, did you sign it? That's not my signature.
Oh.
Because nobody looks at it. You draw a line through it.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at it. Nobody says, oh, that's not your signature. Same thing at a hospital. How about when they hand you 20 pieces of paper at the hospital before they treat you and tell you sign here?
And it's not in plain spoken language either.
No, it's in one of those is basically saying that if there is a negligence claim being brought, you agree to bring it in the county where you were treated. Well, that's not the law in Pennsylvania. The law in Pennsylvania is you can bring it in any county where the medical provider does business. We tell our clients, draw a line through it. Nobody's looking at it. And if it comes to become an issue later on, I didn't sign it. That's not my signature. So, there are a couple different ways to skin a cat. Again, Scott, I've seen this movie before. I know what happens. I know, what the defenses are. I know what's going to be said. I get it. It's. I don't like having. Larry Kelly does not like having gray hair, but I've earned it. I've been doing this 42 years.
You still look dashing, though, don't you?
Yeah,
you wear it well, as they say.
You're very kind.
Now, it seems like every industry has been affected by artificial intelligence. What are you seeing from personal injury? Is that something that's
it's in our world.
Yeah.
We use it. Like, we have a stack of medical records that we want a chronology on. Rather than having a lawyer or one of our paralegals spend 5 hours to go through it, we feed it through AI, and it provides us with the chronology. Now, it may not be perfect, and we don't depend on it totally at LGKG, but we'll use it as a starting point. It's amazing the way it's working. We take a deposition of a doctor in a medical malpractice case. When we get the transcript back, there will be an AI section at the end of the transcript with suggested cross-examination questions.
Wow.
Now, again, does that take the place of a lawyer? It does not, but it's a good starting point. So yeah, we're using AI. If you're not using AI right now, you're not being as productive as you need to be or could be.
Now, on the flip side, are you doing any personal injury cases where someone who was negligent was relying on AI and they weren't double-checking things? Or I'm thinking there's a TV show called The Pit. It's based on, I don't know if you watch it.
I watch it all the time because my wife was a nurse in a trauma unit, which is very similar to what they're doing at The Pit. Yeah, the AI that they're using is a program that helps you chart, as I recall the episode. Right. And the charting is off. Again, it's not a substitute for the eyes of a professional, but it's a good start. As I think doctor said, it needs to be proofread. Mm-hmm. It'll give you a good start, but you still need to proofread it because I believe in the scene there was a suggestion that the patient had a history of something that really wasn't true, and it affected the way they were going to treat him. So, yeah, AI it's here. It's not coming. It's here, and you should be using it, but you should be using it with caution. It's not perfect, but it's certainly helpful. I know that. And at LGKG, we've been using it probably for the last 2 years. We've been using AI in helping us shape our cases and helping us prepare our cases. And it's been very helpful. Yeah,
we use it here. Probably a third of the commercials you hear may have a little bit of AI touch to it.
Okay, well, there you go. Now, but I'll tell you this much, AI, it'll suggest that they could write a brief for you, but unfortunately, some of the citations that are in that brief are not correct. They're inaccurate. And if you submit that brief to the court, you're signing your name, and as an officer of the court, you're telling them that everything in this brief is accurate, especially the citations. It's an ethical violation if you submit a brief that does not have accurate citations. So be careful. Be careful. Again, it can help you write a brief. It can. However, you should double check all the sites to make sure that the sites stand for what they're proposed to stand for in the brief. And at LGKG, we do that. We're never going to submit something on AI alone. We're just not going to do it. When Larry Kelly or Joe George or one of the Kelly girls put their name on something, that's our professional reputation going in there. And through the years, you gotta earn your stripes. When I first started trying cases, I probably tried over 100. When I would submit or make an objection or submit a point of law, the judge would look at me and question me a little bit. It doesn't happen anymore because after giving him the straight or her the straight scoop for 40 years, they know if I give it to you, this indeed stands for the proposition that Larry Kelly said it stands for.
Reputation.
I've earned my stripes. And you can't, listen, your credibility, don't lose it as the lawyer, because once you lose it, you never get it back. If you tell another lawyer something or the court something, it better be the straight scoop, because if it's not, they're going to look at you with a jaundiced eye. You never want to lose your credibility. Never. And hopefully that I haven't lost mine in 42 years. Hopefully.
Definitely have not.
Yeah.
Let's talk time frame for a case. If somebody calls you and you have a sit-down meeting with them and you decide to accept the case, what can people expect? How long does it take? There's no obvious, simple answer, but is there a general?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, if you're involved in a personal injury case, we don't attempt to resolve the case with the insurance company until you have neared the end of your treatment. I've had cases where it looked like the injuries were not going to be very serious. And 3-4 months in, the insurance company's saying, okay, do you want to settle this case? Well, my client has another appointment next week because she still has some pain in her knee. And a month from that time, we discovered that she has a torn meniscus. And now she's going to need surgery. And now after surgery, she's going to need physical therapy. And now she's going to incur additional medical bills. And now she's going to miss work. So we don't attempt to settle the case until we are certain that we know the full picture of your injuries, not only what they are today, but what they may be moving forward. And that's what we do at LGKG. We're patient. You got to be patient. The insurance company wants you to settle the case in a snap. We want to make sure that you have all of the treatment that you'll need, and we know what all of your damages will be. At LGKG, that's what we do. That's why we've been successful. And sometimes that takes 3 months, and sometimes that takes 6 months. Now, if we have to file a lawsuit, you got to wait in line. And, you could probably, after you file a lawsuit, it's going to be probably a year before you have your day in court. But at LGKG, the insurance companies know. We've always tried cases. They know. We try cases, and they know it. I had a case just recently. They made an offer that I thought was grossly inadequate. I didn't say yes. I filed a lawsuit. Maybe they were bluffing. Maybe they think Larry Kelly, he doesn't file lawsuits anymore. Well, guess what? I filed a lawsuit, and they paid 6 times more than what was offered before the lawsuit was filed. 6 times more after we filed the lawsuit. At LGKG, if we tell you we're filing, if we take your case and we can't settle it, we'll file it. We're not going to walk away from it. And the insurance companies know that after 42 years, that at LGKG, we're not bluffing. We tell you we're coming. We tell you we're filing. We're filing. We're not bluffing.
One thing I learned when I was in a car accident, and it was the other person's fault, they ran a red light, they crossed the center lane, they weren't even licensed to drive because of a medical condition. My attorneys warned me, you're going to get a call from their insurance, the driver's insurance company, trying to settle right away. And sure enough, like 2 days later, they called with an offer, like you said, was grossly below what it should have been. And my lawyers told me if that happens, just give them our name and number.
Yeah, you shouldn't make any statements to the opposing insurance company. I had a case that just resolved after we filed a lawsuit. The client gave a statement. It was a fall down case. And really wasn't certain at the time of where she fell. Mm-hmm. So she marked the wrong spot. They sent her a picture. When she came to us, we went out there with that picture. Oh, no, Mr. Kelly, it wasn't here. It was here. Once she was on the scene. But when you get a blind phone call, those kind of things happen. That's going to haunt you if you got to go to trial in that case. Mm-hmm. Well, Mrs. Smith, you didn't tell us you fell here. We have a picture. You said you fell here. There's nothing wrong with this sidewalk here. You can't do it. You can't because you're not prepared to do it. We'll go out to the scene. Let's go look. Now tell me, once you get a perception of where everything was and where you actually were, makes it a lot easier to put a marking on a picture. So, don't do it. If you're going to do it, you're probably going to hurt yourself. Call a lawyer. And, if it's not LGKG, call somebody else who does these personal injury lawsuits. But call a
See, I didn't know you then. I would have called you now that I knew.
Call a boutique. Don't call a big box firm where you're just a number. That's my recommendation to you.
And one more quick break to get in. We'll be back with more from Larry Kelly.
Everything's faster in Atlanta.
These cars are glued together. Up top, it's Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell.
It's the Auto Trader 400 at Echo Park Speedway.
Side by side, Larson with an advantage. The 5 car up front, 3 wide behind him. Chastain got shuffled to the bottom. Kyle Larson out front. Contact with Carson Hocevar. Christopher Bell right on Kyle Larson's door.
The Auto Trader 400 at Echo Park Speedway. Sunday, February 22nd at 2 p.m.
Eating a balanced diet can lead to good health. Having good balance can also save your life, especially if you are a part of a high-wire act. Furthermore, balanced tires on your car will run quieter and wear longer. But not all balance is good. This is Kalen from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. An existing balance on a high-rate credit card is definitely something to rid yourself of. That's why I would like to use the balance of this commercial to tell you about Freedom United's limited time Visa transfer special. Through March 31st, with approved credit, you can transfer those exorbitant balances from other credit cards and finance companies over to our low 6.99% fixed rate Visa. The special low fixed rate applies to all new balance transfers. Don't leave things hanging in the balance. Get it? Visit freedomunitedfcu.com for more details now and put a little freedom in your future. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Moon Township Ford is celebrating the Pittsburgh International Auto Show in a big way. For a limited time, Moon Township Ford is offering Moon Ford bonus cash. That's $500 auto show retail trade assistance towards the purchase of an eligible vehicle. Check out Moon Township Ford's complete inventory online at moontownshipford.net. It's the perfect time to buy a Ford F-150, Ford Bronco, or Ford Bronco Sport and get $500 auto show retail trade assistance too. Stop over today and browse their new Ford models and gently used vehicles of all makes and models. Be sure to check out their complete line of inventory. February is the perfect month to buy and get $500 auto show retail trade assistance. Shop their eligible vehicles online now.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Looking for part-time work with summers off? ABC Transit is hiring drivers and monitors in Allegheny, Beaver, Butler, and Lawrence counties. Start now and drive a school van while training for your CDL. No license? No problem. Monitor positions are available too. ABC Transit offers competitive wages, a sign-on bonus, safety and attendance incentives, and opportunities for charters and additional work. Apply today and support America's future by calling 724-831-8500 or visit abctransit.com.
At MRS Physical Therapy, they understand that you already expect to receive treatment that will help you move better, feel better, and recover faster and more completely from an injury or an operation. But did you know that you can make an appointment to come see MRS Physical Therapy without a doctor referral? And they even offer same-day appointment. It's true. You can come see them whenever you want and come back as many times as you wish for 30 days. There's no need to wait until you see your primary care physician. Get treatment when you need it most at MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com or call 724-728-7550.
Start your day with breakfast at McDonald's. Enjoy their 2 for $5 sausage egg McMuffin. Whether you're on your way to work or on your way to school, McDonald's has the right breakfast for you. McDonald's breakfast. I'm loving it.
9:56 on this Thursday morning. Scott Tatey here, joined in studio by Larry Kelly from the law firm Luxembourg Garbett, Kelly and George. It's always a pleasure to talk to Larry, get a little insight into the legal firm and the legal business, and talk about your business. What makes LGKG the go-to?
Well, look, I think it's really simple. You get personalized attention. We're not a big box firm that handles 1,000 cases. We handpick our clients. We handpick our cases so that we can give your case the attention it deserves and the experience. We've been around for 90 years. We're not going anywhere. If you want to find us, you know where to find us. We've lived and worked in this community our whole life, Scotty. That's kind of the difference between us and a lot of those big box firms out of Pittsburgh, I
feel comfortable talking with you, too. You're I don't know, bedside manner, we would call it for a doctor. I don't know what they call it for a lawyer, but You speak in a plain spoken language. I know what you're saying. You're not using big highfalutin terms, but you get to the nitty gritty. You know.
Well, when you grow up in Newcastle and then you live 30 years in Beaver County, you're a regular guy. As the song, one of my favorite songs, Sly and the Family Stone, Everyday People. That's who I am, Scott. I'm an everyday guy. But again, my wife likes to say sometimes too everyday. But that's who I am. It's what you get. If this is what you like, then call us. If not, call somebody else.
And what is that phone number again?
Yeah, it's 724-846-4400 in Beaver Falls. Toll free if necessary, 888-842-5454. Toll free isn't necessary anymore because everything is not long distance on your cell phone, and
good point.
That's what people do, right? Everybody you have a landline, Scott? You still have one of those?
I do not.
We do. I have no idea why. We don't even answer it at our house because it's normally a telemarketer. But anybody that wants to reach me reaches me on my cell phone. Now, the business phone's a little bit different. You know, I like when people call the business phone because, you know, we get a message. The message comes right to our computer. I know exactly when you called. Unlike my daughters, I don't carry the cell phone around on my ear 24/7.
And you also have the website for people who want more information.
LGKG.com. You can learn everything you need to know about LGKG, the cases we've handled, what other people think of us, our backgrounds, our pictures. So if you see me on the street, you know who you're talking to.
When I go get my beer at JR's Beer World, there's a big billboard for you right there in East Rochester.
Yeah, right next to the beer shop. That's about where we need to be, Scott. That's perfect for us.
I don't know why I'm there every Friday. I can't figure that out.
I'm probably there every Saturday.
All right, Larry, enjoy your monthly visits. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
if you're
Scott.
Listening to this, you can catch up on Facebook. It was streaming on our Facebook page. It'll be there a couple days. All right, you take care, Larry.
All right, my man.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
Patriot Home Care is now hiring caregivers. Are you a caring and compassionate individual looking for a reliable income with benefits? Then call Patriot Home Care today. Benefits include health insurance, life insurance, paid vacation after 1 year, and 1.5 times hourly pay for overtime plus holiday hours. Patriot Home Care employees provide personal care, conversation and companionship,